Talking Shit.
Welcome back to Talking Shit. Back like we never left. Prince Hudda, Johnny Giunta, the return. We've had a fun few weeks with the Euros and Copa. Salute to James Sharman for coming in. But now we're locking into the rest of the summer. We got some baseball. And who better to talk about the state of the MLB and the Blue Jays than the man Johnny Giunta himself? Johnny, what's going on?
Nothing really. I mean, like I said, just watching the worst baseball team I've ever seen with my four eyes and just trying to make the most of it, trying to make as much fun as you could possibly make out of it. And just kind of preying on the Yankees' downfall is what it's turned down to for me. So that's where we've shifted our attention.
Do you feel that people are piling on the Jays hate-wise, or it's just like not even watch anymore?
I mean, honestly, if I'm a fan, like I know I criticize fans and all that, like how could you not, man? I mean, they have a stat came out a couple days ago from Brooksgate on Twitter. The Jays have spent the highest amount of money compared to what their revenue was baseball-wise the year before. So like Rogers has spent like 75% of what their revenue was last year in baseball on the salary for this baseball team for this year. And they are the third worst team in the American League. Like, if I'm a fan, like I completely get it. I mean, when you're going into a season, this would honestly be, I'm not going to go into Leafs-wise maybe, but this would be like if the Leafs just didn't make the playoffs. Like highest payroll, quote-unquote superstars everywhere, or stars everywhere, and they're just one of the worst teams ever. I think if it was the Leafs, it'd be way worse in Toronto if the team sucked, but it's the closest thing in terms of like the failure. It'd be like if the Leafs didn't make the playoffs. That's what this would be like.
Yeah, I feel like because when the Leafs are bad, like people will go right after the individual players, and it's like, get rid of this guy. This person sucks. Where at least the Jays, it's like the fans are collectively not going against individual players. It's the organization. So I think maybe that's the difference between the two fan bases.
Yeah. And like, I think Jays fans are clamoring to, like, they want to keep their superstars. Like, they want to keep Vladdy. Like, they want to keep Bo, even though Bo's been really bad. Like, if the roles are reversed, it's like the Leafs fans are trade Marner, right? They're like, trade everyone, Johnny T, everyone, get everyone off this team. Jays fans collectively just want Ross Atkins gone, right? Like, it's not, like you said, it's not really blaming the players and the quote-unquote superstars as much as it is blaming the general manager, which is what makes it very weird as a Toronto sports fan, seeing the general manager get majority of the hate, not the players.
Yeah, it is interesting because what's funny with the Jays is that they're still putting out great crowds every week. Like you have 25, 30,000 people. I'm sure when that revenue chart for 2024 comes out, they'll have one of the top revenues. But do you think, like, obviously the hardcore fans when it comes to the social media side of things and the diehard Blue Jays fans who are discussed in the team, do you think Rogers or top brass at the Jays are even looking at them, or they're thinking, hey, we're still filling this stadium on a random Tuesday night in August?
I truly don't know if they care. Like, we did a vlog like 2 weeks ago when they really sucked, like in the middle of that 7-game or 8-game losing streak. And there was still like 40,000, 35,000 people in the building. Like, I'm not sure they really care. Like, Jays will always be in the top 5 to top 7 of attendance in Major League Baseball. That's just what it will always be. And if I'm the owner here, it's like, I know we're paying guys a ton of money to just be terrible, but we're still drawing crowds. We're still selling merch. We're still selling like food and beverage at the stadium. I don't know how much they truly care. Maybe that's just an old man take from me, but I'm not quite sure they're that mad about like what's happening on the baseball field. I don't know if they are.
Yeah, producer Sean chimed in. Jays have the 10th highest attendance in the league right now.
Yeah.
And to your point, yeah, like if you live in Toronto, or even if you don't live in Toronto and you come up for the weekend, you're looking for something to do, a Jays game always seems to be top of the list, whether people like baseball or not. I have a guy that works with us here at Sports Interaction. His parents came here from Ireland, and one of the top things they wanted to do coming here from Ireland was going to a Blue Jays game.
Yeah, I think with how unreal the city of Toronto is in the summer, I think it just, a lot of people, especially my age and your age, just treat it as like a summer, like a thing to do in the summer. Like they don't care. Like they'll go to the game, they'll sit in the Corona rooftop, or they'll go to like the Catch Bar or whatever and just drink and just have conversations. Tickets are $20, right, for the general admission. Like at the end of the day, a lot of people just treat it as just like some sort of like social event or just a way to get out of the house. Like they will always have fans, especially with the renovations now. So I really don't see I don't see attendance really dropping, to be honest with you, especially this season.
Yeah, I feel like from an ownership perspective, they're, all is well until people stop showing up. So until the hardcore Blue Jays fans can convince those casual, night out in Toronto people to stop going to games, to your point, it doesn't seem like management's any rush to do anything here.
Yeah, no, there's I don't. They're not firing anyone. The GM, or I guess the president, Mark Shapiro, just did $600 million worth of renovations that I guess look good. Rogers is probably not mad about that. However, I could potentially in a year or two, if this team stays like this, the attendance will drop, and they will still have to figure out a way to pay back the $600 million they spent on renovations. So there will be repercussions down the road, but if they do some sort of retool or get a big name in this offseason, I can't see them really caring or making a move to fire someone in the head off or front office. So I really don't know what the direction of this team is.
So then to close off, then let's say, you are the GM, you're in charge of this team. What's the next logical best step for the Blue Jays? Is it rebuild? Is it try and bring in a big name free agent and kind of retool this current roster? What do you see this team needs to do to turn it around?
I think it's the retool, man. I mean, if you look at where the Toronto Blue Jays have been the last 3 seasons, I mean, they made the playoffs 3 of the last 4. They have not won a playoff game, obviously, but it should be a good baseball team. It's just everyone is underperforming. And if I am Ross Atkins, the biggest problem is I didn't pick up a power bat this offseason. Teoscar Hernandez was right there. We just saw him win the home run derby. JD Martinez is right there. All these big power bats were there, and he decided to pick up the guy with the slowest bat speed in all of baseball. That's an actual stat, in Justin Turner, and didn't really address a problem that the team had last year. So I think it's a retool, man. I mean, Bo Bichette's having the worst year of his career. Vladdy's been unbelievable. IKF was great before he got injured. Ernie Clementson pretty good. It's just you have the pitching to be good, and you have some of the lineup guys to be good. It just you're missing that massive, massive power bat, which is something they haven't addressed the last 2 seasons.
And then one last one on the Jays on a personal level. We'll set an over-under. Let's say 5.5, over under 5.5 more games for you to attend this year.
Oh, that'll be over. I mean, I go to a lot. I mean, I'm going to Chicago for the 3-game series in August, so that's 3 right there. Okay. I would probably, if I were you, I'd set that line at
10,
17.5, 18.5. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I go to a pretty fair amount of games. Like at the end of the day, like we do content there. We have full uniform game next week. So yeah, just I go to a lot of the games. Do I enjoy it? No, majority of the game, I'm not really paying attention anymore. But yeah, I just like being in the building because I know in December I'll be like, man, I'd kill for a Blue Jays game, right? To go to a Blue Jays game tonight. So that's just that I always think about the future. So I'm gonna go no matter how bad they are. But I'm probably a part of the problem on why they're not gonna make changes.
There you go. Yeah. So whether they win or lose, you're gonna be there. I like that. I like that. You're contributing to that 2024 revenue.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit. Obviously, one of the quietest weeks of the entire calendar year when it comes to sports. We just wrapped up the Copa Americas. We just wrapped up the Euros. NHL's done. NBA's done. NFL preseason a few weeks away. MLB All-Star break. What is Johnny Giunta watching or doing on a nightly basis now in this period of nothing?
I've honestly been. This sounds insane, but I have been watching a little bit of like summer league. Like I've watched a couple. Wow. I'm not a big NBA guy. I just want to see what Bronny's doing. Like I've been watching a lot of Bronny. I mean, it's not much to watch with Bronny. I mean, he sucks, but like I've been trying to just kind of see where he's at. 'Cause I love LeBron James, but yeah, I've been really just not. There's no sports to. I mean, MLS tonight is a packed schedule, so I'll probably be watching some MLS, even though it won't be the greatest brand of soccer with everyone just coming back from international breaks. But yeah, I've just been honestly watching random sports like tennis, just random shit, just to get the itch.
Wow, that's interesting. This show kind of started with you know, driving the stake in the ground. I will not watch NBA.
I will stand by it. It was the Bronny James effect. I did not watch other summer league games. I strictly was watching Bronny James.
So would you say, having watched him play, that his draft pick was legitimately just a nepo hire?
I mean, man, he is like shot like below 10% from the field.
Yeah, it's ugly.
I don't know how, or from three, sorry. I don't know how you could justify playing that guy in an NBA game. Like that's just disrespectful, right?
Well, he's balked. Like, he's gonna sell tickets. You see all these Laker summer league games, they're sold out. The Bronny James jerseys, once they come out, they're gonna be the top seller on NBA.com. Like, he's gonna move merchandise, he's gonna sell tickets. People are gonna want to see him play. But yeah, to your point, the minute they do see him play, it goes, oh, what are we thinking here?
Yeah, exactly. Like he's just not good. Like he's airballing tons of three balls. The pressure's clearly there for him. I don't know, man. Hopefully get old takes exposed, but he does not look good like at all. He looks like an average Joe on the court.
He'll figure. I feel like he'll have one game next season, midway through, like January, February, where he pops off, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, here we go, the second coming of the King." If that's King James, he better not be Prince James, because we're gonna have a problem. But I'm happy for Bronny. I hope, like, if the Raptors have a game against the Lakers next season, I'd love to see LeBron play, obviously, but I think Bronny would be just as big of a draw here at this point. So
yeah, he's gonna sell a ton of tickets. It's the son of one of the GOATs. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's been bad. It's been bad stuff.
It's been bad for sure. Well, let's switch gears. Let's go back to the MLB for a little bit. We're at the midway point of the season here. There's been some pretty interesting storylines and a lot of interesting betting trends that I think have been going on in the space. From what I understand, you've been betting the season quite well and have some trends to share with us here today. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say I've been betting it well. See, the thing is, I do these trends every 2 weeks, and I don't follow them because I'm an idiot. But like, there's some fun trends here. Like, if you like to bet the Nerfy, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Washington Nationals are like easily the best team in baseball in the Nerfy. Pirates are 62-31. That's not counting last weekend. And the Nationals are like 65 and like 29 on the Nerfy. Like, they are insane. Both those teams in the Nerfy. The Colorado Rockies with the Yerfy are hitting almost at like a 55-60%. So if you do like to bet Yerfys and runs in the first inning, the Colorado Rockies are one of the best teams in baseball for that. And obviously the Colorado Rockies, they play at Coors Field, which is a launch pad. But that's another one. The next one is the Phillies first 5 money line. If you bet that blindly every single game all year, just Phillies first 5 money line, you'd be up $1,100. That's a good trend. And if you like to bet home run props, like if you like to just bet players to hit home runs, Progressive Field is leading all of baseball this year with home runs, 147 home runs at Progressive Field. So there's
that's
tons
Cleveland,
of
right?
What?
Cleveland? Progressive
Cleveland.
Field? Okay,
yeah,
so betting games in Cleveland. So would that make sense to take overs there as well?
Yeah, it makes sense to take overs there as well. And the Astros are really good towards the under as of late. But if you want to bet against specific pitchers, Chris Flexen on the Chicago White Sox, if you just blindly bet on him every single start this season, you'd be down $1,115. I believe he's 2-14 or 2-10. So if he's on the mound for the Chicago White Sox, it's just an automatic fade. Those are some of the trends that I've found so far. And there's also tons more. But if you want to talk about like home favorites, road underdogs, all that type of stuff, it's majority of it is legitimately 50-50. It's crazy how good they are with those lines. And it's crazy how good they are with like the over-unders, because even over-unders are at like 52% to the over. So it's not even really a big edge for those trends.
That's interesting. So are you sitting there watching every game, writing these down? You know, how are these stats catching your eye?
There is website Covers, which is a part of Sports Interaction, I believe.
Big fan of the show.
Yeah, Covers uses that. So Covers has some pretty good ones. There's other sites as well where you can calculate first 5, but I believe I got first 5 off of Covers. But yeah, there's like some teams you could just blindly bet against or bet on, and you could make a significant amount of money. Like the Phillies, you'd be at the halfway point That's $1,100 just for free, just betting on them $100 a day. So like there's definitely some positive things that you can kind of see from just looking at these betting trends thing. I don't follow these because I'm an idiot, but there is good numbers out there. There's enough data now where you can actually use this to your advantage.
Right. And now that we're saying it out loud, it's just going to flip in the opposite direction now, right? It's what's going to happen. But no, that's cool. That's cool. I use Covers a lot. Covers is a big supporter of Sports Interaction. So we definitely represent Covers. So that's good to know. In terms of teams, I went back, our MLB preview show before the season started. You named 3 sleeper teams. They were the Detroit Tigers, the Minnesota Twins, which are, they're doing good, and then the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, the Pirates are sneaky, man. Pirates are sneaky. I mean, they might become, I'm not going to say full-blown buyers, but they might become soft buyers at the deadline. I mean, they're 48-48, 1.5 games back of a wild card spot. Pirates are a fun team to bet on, especially when Paul Skenes is pitching.
Oh, of course. Paul Skenes, I think, is like taking over the internet space of like the not the face of MLB, but it seems like they're really pushing him in that direction with all the stuff with Livy Dunn and having him start the game and just him living up to the hype, which you don't see a lot in this day and age.
Yeah, and I know we were going to talk about him here, like some Paul Skenes props or MLB props halfway through the season. If you can, I'm not even like, I wish we did the show last week because me and Avery gave it last week. Paul Skenes to win the Cy Young. It was plus 5,000 last week. It's now plus 1,200. I don't know if it's up right now on Sports Interaction, but it was last time I looked.
I'll pull it up.
It's plus 1,200 now. Paul Skenes has been statistically the best pitcher in baseball since his debut. It's not showing signs of slowing down. He has not got shelled in a singular start. If you want to get value, there hasn't really been a pitcher that's run away with the Cy Young in the National League like Tariq Skubal has in the American League. I would take a flyer on Paul Skenes to win the Cy Young. I really would. He's unbelievable. I don't know what the odds are right now.
Unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Right now at Sports Reaction, at the time of recording, Paul Skenes to win the National League Cy Young plus 400.
Yeah. I gave it last week.
Yeah.
Me and Avery
didn't he have his career high of strikeouts? Was that before that game? Is that why?
Yes.
It moved? I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So we gave it last Wednesday. I said, if I were you, I'd like Avery said it, and then I said it. It was plus 5,000 to win the Cy Young. I mean, even plus 400 is not that bad value because I think he's the best pitcher in the National League by like far and away. There's no one even coming for the title for him. But that's crazy that it's dropped down that much. It's probably been like that on every book, but it was plus 1,200 2 days ago.
That's insane. Well, Paul Skenes, obviously, he would become the first player since Fernando Valenzuela from the 1980s to win the Cy Young and Rookie of the Year in the same season. What makes Paul Skenes so special?
I think the splinker, which is one of the nastiest pitches calculated in baseball right now. His fastball touches 102. He does not walk a lot of guys. He has tons of put away stuff. He lives in the zone. He's been pretty consistent in the zone, and it is quite literally impossible to hit him. Like I've talked to guys that have faced him, and they said it's just like it runs up on you so fast. Like he's hit 104. It just you don't know. Like you have to guess right when it leaves his hand if you're going to swing or not, and if you don't, you're done. You're like late as hell. So Paul Skenes is unbelievable. Or I think he's at 102, not 104, but he is easily the best pitcher in baseball right now. Him and Tariq Skubal are insane.
Well, right there, Tariq Skubal minus 150 for American League Cy Young. So not much value there, but you could probably parlay that with Paul Skenes at plus 400 to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit. Rookie of the Year in the National League, it's minus 1,200 Paul Skenes. So it seems like he's pretty much locked up.
Yeah.
What should be one of the biggest rookie seasons we've seen in quite a while. So do you have high hopes? Like, do you think we're seeing his peak, or do you think he's just getting started here with how he's playing?
We're talking about a guy that was last year in the College World Series not at this time, like 2 months before this time. He is starting in an all-star game as a rookie. Like he's only made like 6 starts. I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this. Like they talk about Steven Strasburg. They talk about Verlander. this is unprecedented. Like, this just doesn't happen. I mean, we are literally watching greatness, and it's wild. It's on a market like the Pittsburgh Pirates, man. I mean, it's unreal. It's cool to watch, and he is clearly propelled. He is already leading the Pittsburgh Pirates in WAR, and he has been on that team for 2 months. Like, he's already accumulated more like value to the Pittsburgh Pirates than anyone else on the team, and he's been there for like honestly like a month and a half, 2 months.
That's crazy. I think like when he got called up, I think that's when the internet started running with, oh, Livy Dunn's boyfriend, this and that, because she's a pretty popular gymnast at LSU. But that narrative very quickly changed because this guy seems like an absolute stud, and the sky's the limit here this season. So it is cool how we just saw this with the NFL, with the Taylor and the Travis situation, and so now kind of seeing it brewing here with the MLB. At least that's what some people are saying. It's a good look for the league, no?
Yeah, it's a great look for the league. I mean, he's must-watch TV every 5 days. Like, when Paul Skenes is starting, they can't even really set a total for his strikeouts. It's usually 7.5, 8.5, and he hits it every single time besides when I bet on it. I think it's the only game he hasn't hit his total, but, man, he rocks, dude. I would kill to have a guy like that on my favorite baseball team. Every 5 days, he is going to absolutely shove. And he is leading in, like I said, in every single pitching category since he got called up. It's ridiculous. It really is.
That's unbelievable. Well, to put a total on it right now at Sports Interaction, the prop over under 161 and a half strikeouts. Believe he's at 89 right now, assuming clean bill of health rest of season. You think he smashes that number?
Yeah, man. I'd put a lot. I mean, I'm probably going to bet that. I didn't know it was that low. That's crazy. Yeah,
it seems pretty low saying it out loud. Yeah, that's.
And there's not
he's at
really
89. Sorry.
There is not really like a pitch limit for him. I mean, the Pirates are going to start slowly. If they keep winning, like they're a game and a half out of a playoff spot. They're not going to sit Paul Skenes. Like, they want to make the playoffs. So I think you got to bet this. Like, I'm not saying like put a lot of money on it, but like this is also a fun bet to have. You get to watch Paul Skenes every 5 days and just notch off as many strikeouts as you need. It's cool. He rocks, man. He absolutely rocks. It's so cool to watch like a young guy just go from college to the pros within a year and he's starting an all-star game. It's unheard of.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think in the last 7 games he's had 59, or in his last 7 starts he's had 59 strikeouts. So this guy's ridiculous. Lighting up at the right time. You almost didn't want the All-Star break to slow him down, but it seems like it's not going to be an issue. So, yeah, I'll be tuning in his next start. I haven't looked at the Blue Jays schedule. Are Pittsburgh in town at any point later this season?
I believe they are.
Okay, I'd imagine that's a hot ticket.
Let me see when that is, because Oh no, they already came here. The
Jays he didn't pitch, right?
Yeah, the Jays missed them. He didn't pitch because he pitched the day before that. Thank God. That would have been
probably a good thing.
That would have been a massacre. But Paul Skenes has been he's been that guy, and I obviously gave the plus 5,000 to people. Me and Avery talked about it for like 20 minutes, and I didn't bet it. And then, of course, he does that. He takes the no-hitter into the 7th. They pull him when he already has the no-hitter, and his odds drop to plus 400 now. I mean, I can't catch a break with that shit. But I also hate futures, but that's just dumb that I didn't do that. But whatever. All we can do is look forward.
I like that. Well, plus 400 is still a decent number if you are interested in taking Paul Skenes at that number. That's obviously going to change pretty much every time he starts now, it seems like. So happy for his success. So we talked about the Pirates as a sleeper team you mentioned before the season, but there were 2 teams you said that may not live up to expectations this season that everyone has set for them. And you seem bang on. We have the Texas Rangers in the World Series last year, definitely not playing up to par as they were, just a few months ago in the World Series, and the New York Yankees, which may have been a personal attack, but it seems to be backed up. It seems like Yankee fans are really unsure what the future of this team looks like this season.
Yeah, Yankees right now in the last month are statistically the worst team in baseball. They are slowly starting to come back to life. This is better than a World Series for me. This is I love it. I need it. I crave it. And I am hoping to God the Boston Red Sox pass them. Boston Red Sox right now are probably one of the most fun teams in baseball. They rock. And I don't know if Sean's been betting on them a lot, but they've been an absolute cash cow. Here's a little fun stat about the Boston Red Sox. On Sundays, the Boston Red Sox are 15-1. They average 6 runs a game on Sundays.
Fuck. Okay. Is that like, did you see, is that a covers one, or is that just?
No. I saw like a Red Sox fan I follow tweeted it, and I looked it up, and I did like a whole TikTok video about it because they're 15-1 on Sundays, average 6 runs a game, and only give up 2.7. And they've only given up over 4 runs on Sundays once the entire season.
Okay.
So they are an absolute wagon on Sundays. It's an insane stat. I couldn't believe it when I read it. I had to like triple check when I was doing the numbers, but they are 15-1 on Sundays. They are the best team in baseball on Sundays.
It's good to know. So with the team like the Yankees obviously playing below expectations, is the All-Star break an opportunity for them to turn it around, or you think the ship keeps going down from here?
They ended it. I mean, they went into the All-Star break with a catastrophic loss. I mean, they had bases loaded. Their closer, who was blown, has like a 1-3 whip, and he made the All-Star team, which is a joke in itself. But they 2 errors in the 9th inning to lose the game. And then, just everything is unraveling. I mean, Aaron Judge has pretty much been their only good hitter. Juan Soto struggling a little bit, but he'll get back. Anthony Volpe sucks. The Yankees are folding right now, but in a baseball season, this type of stuff happens, and I'm assuming they'll probably be good in like 2 weeks, and we'll forget about this stretch they just had being the worst team in baseball. But the Yankees are a very weird team to watch because their lineup is very, very bad outside of Juan Soto and Aaron Judge.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch is obviously saving them quite a bit. Aaron Judge, an interesting name right now, has a chance to win the Triple Crown as a member of the New York Yankees. A little bit of trivia here. Can you name me the last New York Yankee to hit for the Triple Crown?
I want to say like Joe DiMaggio, probably. Is it more recent?
It's older.
Lou Gehrig? No. Lou Gehrig?
Nope. Sean,
I know the last professional baseball player to do was Miguel Cabrera in 2012, I believe.
Yeah,
I don't know
that
the
is
last
correct.
Yankees game.
The last Yankees player to hit for the Triple Crown, it was Mickey Mantle in 1956.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I mean, Aaron Judge is a monster. Like, he is an absolute freak. So, yeah, that makes sense. It's been that long. Triple Crown's near impossible to hit. I can't believe Miguel Cabrera did it like so recent, like 12 years ago. It's wild.
But we're in a time right now where there's potentially 2 guys that can hit for the Triple Crown. You got Shohei Ohtani in the National League, and you got Aaron Judge in the American League. If we were to look into the crystal ball, by the time we hit October, who would you say is more likely from these 2 to hit a Triple Crown this season?
Man, I mean, I'm looking at the odds right here on Sports Interaction. You got Aaron Judge plus 800, Ohtani plus 1100, or plus 1,000. Sorry. Honestly, man, Aaron Judge is so good, and I don't know how you don't at least just sprinkle Aaron Judge here. I mean, the guy was very bad in April. Like, he was one of the worst hitters in the Yankees. Yankees fans talked about they hated him in April. This guy is hitting 306. He is slugging 679. And he has 34 home runs, and we are in July. Like, he is on pace to hit 60 home runs this year again, and he's hitting above 300. I would probably put the Aaron Judge would probably be the closest for me, other than Ohtani, closer than Ohtani to win the Triple Crown. I think Aaron Judge is the closest thing we've seen to someone hitting the Triple Crown since Miguel Cabrera.
Has that happened in history where 2 guys hit for the Triple Crown in the same year?
No.
AL and NL? That would be unprecedented too.
Oh my God. I mean, that's just, I mean, if you look right here though, like Aaron Judge, home run leader, he is the clear-cut favorite for that.
Yeah.
He's a clear-cut favorite for the RBI leader, and there's no odds for average leader, obviously, but like 2 out of the 3 is guaranteed down. Like, he is going to hit the 2 out of the 3. The only one you're worried about right now is average. And he's still hitting 304. You know? Like,
yeah. It seems likely. Ohtani on the other side seems like a good shout too. I know there were questions coming into the season about his health, but seeming to put everything in the past. I mean, it almost like you almost didn't want. Well, I mean, I guess as a Blue Jays fan, you probably wanted Ohtani here, but to see him play this well and the team play this bad, right? It's a give and take relationship.
He elevates it.
Yeah, I'm sure he would elevate it, but
the tough thing about Aaron Judge is, I mean, Stephen Kwan's hitting 352. Like that's Stephen Kwan would have to go on like a really bad run to get anywhere near where that is. Like Ohtani right now is only 10 points off of the average of the lead in average. He's leading in home runs and RBIs. He's only 8 back, right? Like,
yeah,
Stephen Kwan's going to really ruin this Triple Crown thing for Aaron Judge because I can honestly like he's so close, but Stephen Kwan's hitting 352. Like that's just not going to happen.
If a guy gets hurt, like so let's say, like God forbid, Stephen Kwan gets hurt, can't play a game the rest of the year. Is his average locked in at that number, or does it? Oh, that's.
Okay. But he won't be qualified though. He won't have enough at bats.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't count towards the award.
Yeah, it goes by qualified at bats. So if he doesn't have I don't know what the minimum at bats is. They go by league average. If he doesn't have anywhere near that, he's fine. Like he won't classify. So that's like one name off the list.
Okay. Well, interesting to note. So wrapping up the MLB segment here. I don't recall us doing a World Series prediction prior to the season, but given what you've seen so far from the American League and the National League, what is your World Series prediction at this point in the MLB season?
I don't know how you bet against the Philadelphia Phillies, man. They are absurd. I mean, they are plus 450 right now to win the World Series. They are so good offensively. They were missing Harper and they were missing Schwarber for a couple weeks, and they still won a ton of games. They are on the loose. Like they are already locked in the playoffs. Like let's call it what it is. Yeah. I mean, they're already locked in the playoffs pretty much. The Phillies, for me, they have the pitching, they have the bullpen, they have the hitting, they have the defense. And that's what wins championships, obviously. I love the Phillies at plus 450. Love them.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. The Dodgers are still the perennial favorite, plus 333, but it seems like the Dodgers every year up there.
Yeah, they're playoff
just purely off of reputation. Yeah.
Yeah, they're playoff chokers as well. So I would never bet the Dodgers to win the World Series ever.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Yankees being the favorites out of the American League to win the World Series?
Yeah, I think what the books are recognizing is that this is just a lull. Like every team goes through this. But yeah, I think the Orioles are way better, but I'm not sure. Orioles are like 50 cents difference, so it's not really that crazy of being favorites. But I just don't see a world where this Yankees team wins a World Series. Like their lineup sucks besides Judge and Soto. So yeah, and Ben Rice is kind of good, but this Orioles team is way better in my opinion.
That's fair. Cleveland at plus 1,600 seems odd. I would think they'd be a bit higher.
Yeah, they're one of the best teams in baseball, man. They're getting really.
I feel like that's a good. Would that be good? That'd probably be good value at this point. Even Cleveland to win the American League right now, plus 600.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against that either. I mean, they're but the thing is about Cleveland is their pitchers are getting really lucky. Like all their expected stats for their pitching is really bad. So like they're just starting to think. The books at least are recognizing like, hey, I don't know if this is going to stand for the remainder of the season.
Interesting. Sean?
What about the Astros, man? What about those Astros?
Sean, you can't go wrong with the Astros. You really can't.
They're 1,600, and they've made the ALCS every year since 2017. They're going to get Verlander back. They can acquire an arm at the deadline to help that pitching staff. They're a ton injured. They're getting Kyle Tucker back.
And they're going to win the division.
Yeah. To me, it's the Astros. It's always the Astros. I always pick the Astros.
They were at one point plus 300 to make the playoffs, like two months ago when they were struggling, and now they went on this little run, sneaky little run. Everyone's starting to hit for that team again. They're talking about being massive buyers at the deadline. Plus 1,600 for the Astros, Sean. I don't hate that. I really don't hate that. It's hard. It's like betting against the Chiefs. The Chiefs will always be in the Super Bowl. Always.
That was Sean's rhetoric in December here. He was saying, why are we counting out the Chiefs? So
yeah,
he follow the trends here. It seems to work out well.
The Astros are a smart bet, Sean. Plus 1,600. That's going to drop probably because the Mariners are really bad right now.
Okay. Well, looking at the to make the playoff odds, the team with the worst odds to make the playoffs, fittingly, the Toronto Blue Jays plus 2,000. So,
Yep.
sounds about right.
That was someone else's money.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, we got an exciting second half of the season to look forward to. A lot of key names to look at. Paul Skenes, can he break or can he continue to make history in this dominant season? Could he win the Cy Young? Could he win Rookie of the Year and Cy Young? We have two potential Triple Crown winners, and then a pretty tight race in both the American, I guess in the American League for the World Series. It seems like National League, in your opinion, is locked up with Philly.
Yeah, they're so good. I mean, the American League has so many good teams, right? You saw yesterday in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So many superstars in the American League. Yeah, man, like I said, I love the Phillies. I love betting on them. We talked about the trends earlier. The best team to bet on in first five, which means their starting pitchers are so good. Yeah, the Phillies are they've been just a juggernaut this year.
Yeah, I will say, I think baseball does the All-Star game the best out of the professional sports leagues.
Yeah, they actually care.
100%.
Yeah.
Like it's actually a game where they're trying to win and playing their hardest, where, you know, you see the Pro Bowl, whatever the joke that's become, and NBA All-Star game, NHL All-Star game, guys are just kind of, you know, feel like they're forced to be there rather than getting, you know, a week off and being part of a showcase of the best players in the game. So baseball always seems to do it right when it comes to the All-Star game.
Oh yeah, that game was raw because the pitchers will go full blown. Like they treat it as like a bullpen for themselves. So they'll actually pitch. Hitters will obviously actually hit, and they actually want to make plays behind these guys. It's the only one where they actually put forth effort.
Yeah, I wonder how like other leagues would be able to incentivize players to actually give a shit about the All-Star game. Like,
yeah,
we saw the NBA have the play-in tournament where, you know, not necessarily an All-Star game, but people were motivated to win it just for a cash prize. So there's some way to get players in other sports leagues to give a shit about All-Star games. That would be cool.
Yeah, it's hard to do. I mean, Major League Baseball, there's a lot of egos, and you can't really fake pitching. You can't throw like 82 on the mound. You have to throw pretty much full blown. So it does more negative impact on your arm if you don't throw
right.
If you don't throw literal like full, not 100%, but if you don't throw 80 to 85%, like your arm, you're ruining your arm. So that's why baseball will always have the advantage.
That's fair. Yeah, I feel like the worst for me would probably be the Pro Bowl, because they don't, like, if you're playing football without tackling, it's like, what are we doing here, right? So I can totally see that game's completely fallen off. They do like dodgeball and all these fun contests, but it doesn't seem like there's any sort of legitimacy to that game at all.
It's a joke.
Well, some late breaking news. I guess this broke yesterday, but wanted to get your take on it. I think we talked about this guy a few months ago when we were breaking down the NFL free agency and the movers potentially. Brandon Ayuk, someone who a lot of people, including myself, thought would get dealt at the draft by the San Francisco 49ers, has now reached a point where he doesn't want to re-sign with the 49ers and is requesting a trade. A guy like Brandon Ayuk, where could you see him fitting in, if not San Francisco, in the NFL?
I'm looking at right now, like, just the projected betting odds. Like, you got the Patriots are the massive favorites.
That makes no sense to me.
Commanders, Steelers, Chargers. I think he's going to be a command. He's going to be a commie. I think he's going to the Commanders.
He's going to be a commie.
Yeah, I think he's going to the Commanders. I think he's a command. I was going to say Patriots originally, but I was like, I don't know if that really makes that much sense where they're at. I think he's going to be a Commander or a Steeler.
That's fair. I feel like I was looking back. It's crazy how old some guys are that are in college. Jaden Daniels and Ayuk actually played together at Oregon back in 2019.
Oh, really?
Before he transferred to LSU. So it's like there is the history there, and a franchise like Washington, who mediocre, like they're kind of turning a corner, but there isn't really much to have going in their favor, especially given their division. They got the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants. It would be a fun fit. I mean, Daniels is probably going to start. You know, he's got an electric playing style. You have Terry McLaurin. You have John Dotson, who didn't play too well, but it's a good receiver. You bring Ayuk in there. I think that would be a fun fit. My only concern is, like, Ayuk's going from the Super Bowl, you know, being the number one receiver on a team in the Super Bowl, to a team that probably won't make the playoffs. I understand the idea of getting your money, but it's like, if you came this close to winning the Super Bowl, why wouldn't you try and run it back with a contender?
Yeah, I mean, none of the contending teams really have that much space. I mean, I've seen the Bills a decent amount as well online. Like he could be a
That
Bill.
makes sense.
Maybe even a Charger. The Chargers receiving core is ass. So I could even the Chargers have a ton of space as well. Listen, it doesn't make sense to go to the Commanders. Let's be real here. They suck. Like they're not good. Doesn't make sense to go to the Patriots. They're in kind of a rebuild right now.
No.
But if he gets paid, he gets paid, man. And that's what he clearly wants to do. If he wanted to win, he would have stayed on the Niners and took a little bit of a pay cut, especially because he had a pretty big role for that team. It's not like he wasn't getting reps or getting the ball a lot. So I'm not quite sure, to be honest. If he clearly is motivated by money right now, and the Commanders, Patriots, and Steelers have a pretty decent amount of it. So
yeah, Patriots specifically have the most cap room in the league. But again, like you're going into an offense with the new coach, new coordinator, new quarterback, going from, Shanahan and the 49ers. Like, I guess like that to me tells me that a guy is purely money driven than he is trying to win. Like, I guess to his point, he made the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, top wide receiver in one of the best offenses in the league. It just seems like a step back to go to a rebuilding team that won't have any primetime games. You're going to get paid, but you're probably not going to have the same stats, and your next deal probably won't be as good either. So
yeah,
it
all matters about the quarterback, man. And so all those teams that I mentioned have rookie quarterbacks. Maybe not the Steelers because they got Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, but I'm really not sure what he's thinking. I mean, that's just kind of a crazy move to just leave a team that was right there,
Yeah, very, very bizarre. I think as we get closer to the NFL season, we'll definitely have some more future markets available. But Brandon Ayuk, where he will land is one of the few things you can bet on right now. It seems like, we're 2.5 weeks away from the Hall of Fame game in the NFL. So we're creeping back
so close
into the season. We're getting
so
close.
Listen, I love baseball season. Okay, obviously I'm a baseball guy, but NFL Sunday just hits different. It just hits a different beast. It hits a different nerve,
Yeah, it's probably living in Canada. These winters are brutal. Probably the only joy of being in Canada from September to January, because you can
college football on Saturday. Like it's the best. And then you have a division realignment now, more teams in the college football playoff. Like, yeah, we're a month and 12 days away from week 0 for college football. So we're right there. We're right there.
We are right there. And then the Premier League starting up soon as well. So it seems like we just got to weather the storm for these 2 weeks. We do have the Olympics starting next week. In terms of a betting perspective, I know basketball will be interesting. Canada's got a good team this year. Soccer, tennis, a couple of the individual sports could be good. But do you watch the Olympics? Will you be watching? Will you be tuning in?
Not really. I mean, like, I'll be watching the basketball and the soccer. It's a shame there's no baseball in it. You can't do it anyways. It's literally in the middle of the baseball season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably be watching the soccer. I mean, you got Argentina playing in a week, and they just won the Copa America a week ago.
Yeah.
If you're talking about this, like, this is insane. I cannot believe how fast the turnaround is. You have Spain and Argentina playing on the exact same day at 9 a.m., July 24th. Which is next week.
A week today,
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I don't know how these athletes have any motivation to they play a million games a year. These guys, it's insane.
And you don't get paid for Olympics either, too.
Oh, you
so
don't get paid for it.
That's just country pride. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they won't have Messi, which is unfortunate. He seems like he's got a significant injury.
Yeah.
So it sucks because that. The likelihood of him playing in Toronto in October is becoming less and less by the day now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the favorites here, gold medal favorites, France right now plus 200 on Sports Interaction, Argentina plus 225, Spain plus 275. I'm really not sure the players that are going to be playing in this thing, though.
Yeah, it almost makes sense to take a team that wasn't in either of these tournaments that has the fresh legs. But again, that could just be silly to not think a team like France, Argentina, or Spain would win, an international soccer tournament. But who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
Sure.
I'm really interested in watching the basketball. I'm not sure if you saw the showcase with the Canadian men's
I watched
team.
some of that.
Yeah. just the U.S. just phoning it in and still destroying us. Like that was a tough watch. But I do think Canada can. It's all it takes is one game, right? Maybe they shock a few people. They're in a group of death here. They got Greece, they got Spain, they got Australia, but you never know, right? Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, for sure. See what happens. I mean, we're a week away. I can't believe it. That's crazy. Yeah, we're a week away from the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, to see a Canada versus USA gold medal basketball game, that would be cool, considering how far we've come, because that would usually be a hockey thing. I think that would be electric for the sport. It's electric for the sports books, and then definitely electric for the fans.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, Canada's they're fucking good, man. I think they're a good team, but
that's the best team.
When the lights are the brightest, see what happens, man. That's the beauty of it. But I'm not sure what let's see what their favorites right now. Canada futures.
Yeah, right now the U.S. is the heavy favorite to win the whole thing, and Canada's second. Yeah, so they're tied with France. I mean, if it's not USA, I'd imagine it's Canada. But again, there's got to be something catastrophic that happens to the U.S. considering the talent they have.
Canada -6.5 favorites next Thursday against Greece.
That should be a good one. Well, I'll see. I mean, Greece has the Antetokounmpo brothers. You got Giannis, and then the two others. So, I mean, the Greek Freak three. You never know.
Yeah, I will be betting on this. Let's make this clear. This game is at 3:00, right in the prime time of betting territory. So yeah, 3:00. This game will be bet on. I didn't realize they're playing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they got a few games over the next little bit, so we can dive into them bit more of that as we get closer to the date. But yeah, Canada, I mean, it just seems like we're turning the corner internationally, right? When you got how good we played in the Copas and the way the soccer's going, basketball, and then we have the Four Nations Cup in hockey next year where we already know Canada's going to show up there. So it seems like we're turning a corner in Canadian sports right now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for it. We'll see what happens, man. Canada-USA finals. Need it.
We'll see. Well, if you want to bet on the Olympics, whether it's basketball or anything Olympics related, make sure to download Sports Interaction and bet on it today. This has been Talking Shit for myself, Prince Hudda, Johnny, Sean in the building as well. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Stay tuned for future episodes and follow us on social media. And make sure to download Sports Interaction, your homegrown sports book, bet local.
Talking Shit.